Ladies and gentlemen, now it's Too Late with Alan Mosley.
I know. I saw the footage too. We'll get to it in a second. All right, guys, welcome back for another episode of It's Too Late. I am your host, Alan Mosley, joined as always by the #1 producer in late night. It's Dave Willimowski. Dave! Dave, how are you doing?
I'm doing really good. Yeah. Doing good. Everything's pretty even keel. Nothing too crazy going on. Yeah. How you doing?
I had a terrible day.
Oh yeah, you said I don't think we got into it, but yeah.
Yeah, no, that's after party kind of stuff, you know.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But right now with the show on and everybody getting in the groove, and I mean you and I right there in the pre-show, we were like we're on it.
Mm-hmm.
No technical difficulties. Everything
None.
sounds good, looks good. Yeah.
I certainly hope so.
I see people in chat saying sorry tomorrow is Thursday, boy. Here I was trying to get myself pumped up for a good show, and now it just...
Somebody had to bring up Thursday.
God dang it, dude. I hate... Thursdays shouldn't exist. I would gladly give up 1/7 of my life force to have Thursdays gone. I mean it. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, right.
You really hate Thursdays.
I do really hate Thursdays. Oh my God! Let me tell you what else I hate. Leading off tonight is everyone's favorite industry-crushing commie clan. That's right, it's the United Auto Workers. Oh my God, the UAW is back on strike again, Dave. Look at Bernie.
No.
Is Bernie even alive?
What's he?
Oh my God, Weekend at Bernie's is about him.
That just popped into my head at the exact same time as you said it. Yeah.
I wonder what percentage of our audience has no idea what we're talking about. You know?
I know at least one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's true. Listen to this, Dave. Listen to some of their demands. They want a 25% raise, right? 25%. Who gets a 25% raise, by the way? But listen,
they just want to keep up with inflation.
Well, no, that you get to suffer with the rest of us. But listen to this. This is the real kicker. They want to go down to a 4-day work week, which is a 32-hour schedule, but they want to keep the money. Like they still want to make the full. They don't want their salary to go down. They want to keep the full salary, but just only work 4 days a week. How about you? How about you, Dave? Would you like to keep your current salary but only work 4 days a week?
I think that'd be all right. Yeah.
Yeah. See, you know, I don't know, because you're actually the one person I know that might actually vote no on that proposal.
Well, I'd take it and then I get another job.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you just just go work somewhere else. Now, I know everyone's thinking, look, that's not going to happen, right? Yeah, that's BS. But if you think that there's no chance that these clowns will get what they want, not so fast. Because I'll tell you what, they have a really powerful ally in their corner, and that's your very own, Dave, Senator John Fetterman of Pennsylvania. Here, take a look what Senator Fetterman had to say.
My message to the CEOs is, you know, it's $74 million, you know, collectively earning that. You know, how many yachts can they need, to water ski behind it? You know, I mean, it's just crazy.
Wow. That man should be in the White House.
Right? See, I've changed my mind on that. Here I was ridiculing this potato for like the last year. I've changed my mind. I'm going to vote for him for president. If he runs, I'm voting for him.
Yeah, that'd be great.
The only people I will have ever voted for in my life are Ron Paul and John Fetterman.
That's a perfect track record.
You know what? In all seriousness, though, you know the way to handle this UAW situation? Because these guys are striking because they want higher salaries and less work hours, and you know, people who are working for like the major motor companies here in the United States that are just going to get bailed out, right? So when the union drives up the wages far past what the market can stand, and then the quality of the vehicles goes down, the price of the vehicles goes up. They can't compete with foreign automakers, and so they lose billions of dollars. And then they go to government and say, "Oh, hey, you need to bail us out. We can't compete." And then the government's like, So now you're having to pay higher prices for the vehicles, and you will pay to bail them out with your tax dollars when the government bails them out. So here's my idea. This is the way to do it. Send all the jobs overseas.
I think we're trying that.
See, that's the thing, is that a lot of people are like, "Oh no, boo, we got to bring back American money." No. It's about what the market can stand. And if you want cheaper cars at a higher quality and greater quantities, and you want to not have the government bailing out special interest like the automotive industry, let's be Mexicans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Instead of Mexicans.
Yeah. There's a bunch of Mexican factories already. So just say, "Hey, you guys want to build some..." I was going to say build some Saturns. I don't think they build those anymore.
I
don't know, man. I don't know. Let's let the Mexicans build some Saturns and see what happens. I don't know.
Maybe they'll bring it back. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. I like that. I'll tell you what, President Biden is also in the news this evening. Now, viewers at home may remember one of the biggest gaffes of his political career in the lead up to the 2020 election, while he was commenting on the state of education in America. But here's a clip as a refresher.
We have this notion that somehow if you're poor, you cannot do it. Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
Boy, you said it, friend. I tell you what, guys, if you liked that, got great news for you. The sequel just dropped this week. Here, check out the new hit.
And I've focused on this my whole career, particularly for African Americans and Hispanic workers and veterans. And workers without high school diplomas.
Wow.
Yeah, you know.
Wow.
Yeah, you know the type.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say that.
I mean, he certainly did. That's not edited, Like, that's what makes it just...
We don't have to.
Mwah. Is that he just said that, yeah. But now that we've spent plenty of time talking about the liberal men, let's talk a little bit about the conservative women. Oh, my God, Dave. The MILFs have been very naughty girls this week.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. Starting off, we have Colorado Representative Lauren Boebert. Check this out right here. She apologized after getting kicked out of a show with her date and falsely denying that she vaped.
Oh my gosh, vaping?
Vaping in a theater? My word. But
that's terrible.
Turns out that the vape wasn't the only thing getting smoked that night. They actually have the security cam footage of the incident in the theater. Here, take a look. And there's Senator. Where's that hand? Oh my goodness!
He's looking for his stapler.
Now, what's she gonna do? She's gonna say no, right? Except
Obviously.
for. Oh, where's her hand going? Oh my word!
There's people everywhere.
All right, so, quick sidebar, Dave. You and I.
All right.
What are your thoughts on the bolt-ons? On the fake boobies.
Oh, the bolt-ons. I didn't know they used bolts.
Yeah. You see how heavy those things are? You got to have some fucking support.
Well, I don't have a lot of, as far as I know, I don't have a lot of experience with them. And if I do, then they're amazing because I can't tell the difference. But I don't know. I'd have to conduct some experiments.
They are unfit to exist.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to either be born with the goods or you just have to, I don't know, work in the field, I guess. Yeah. No, well, I said work in the field. You said, I don't know. My opinion, though, is, Dave, that I think we should all get a turn because you see those bad boys right there? Those are taxpayer-funded tits.
Oh, those are, yeah.
Yeah.
Those are for the people.
Yeah, that's public property.
Oh, my.
Yeah.
Well.
I know. Just throwing that out there. But it doesn't even end with Boebert. Check out some scandalous news out of South Dakota featuring the governor there, Kristi Noem. There she is right there. It turns out that she engaged in a years-long affair with former Trump aide Corey Lewandowski. don't let your daughters grow up to date Corys. Jesus Christ.
Oh,
Their affair was described as, quote, absurdly blatant and public. They made no attempt to hide their misdeeds from other staffers. Other sources close to the Capitol described Lewandowski as, quote, handsy.
handsy.
Dave, you ever been known to be handsy?
Not blatantly, not in public.
Not absurdly blatant in public?
Yeah.
No.
No.
Well, I guess there's just no future for you in politics, huh?
I guess. Dang it.
I'll tell you who has been known to be absurdly blatant and handsy in public, and that is Steve Fox of Fox & Sons Coffee, which you can find at foxandsonscoffee.com. Fans of It's Too Late, use code ITL and receive 18% off of orders of $25 or more. Steve is here. Steve says every chance. Amen, brother. Shipping's always free over orders of $37.99. I've got the Den Blend Light right here.
Ooh.
Yeah, check out that right there. It's yeah. Remember last week when we were talking about the sniff hole in the back, and then you had to make it all weird, and it's just it's
got
ridiculous.
weird,
Yeah. Listen to this. The Den Blend Light Roast is light and bright.
Oh.
Yeah. See, light roasts have high school diplomas, but the dark roasts,
according to Biden,
yeah, the dark roasts need a little help.
they're veterans. Actually, I got some of that. Oh,
what the
wrong
hell?
button there. Yeah, I got some of that honey prep this week. Just
Oh
showed
my
up in the
God!
mail.
What?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you tried it yet?
It's yeah, I did. Yeah, I've brewed a few pots now. It's really good. It's like you can I swear you can taste honey, but it's just not like sweetness of honey. It's like the flavor of honey, and it's really neat. It adds a lot of. It's like, I don't know. I'm not a big coffee describer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
it's good. I like it.
We had Steve on for like 2 hours. He described it for us, and now you and I, being intellectuals, have already forgotten everything he said.
Oh, did he tell it? Oh, yeah, he did.
Yeah,
I remember that now.
Yeah. Oh, have you got some? Ooh,
Yeah, right here.
you got the
Yeah.
big bag.
Yeah, he sends me the kilos. Look at that
That's a
Brazil honey
chonker
prep.
right there. What a unit. Oh, has it got a sniff hole? Ooh, yeah.
I don't know. It's open, so I don't know how to close it. Oh, it does. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But it's.
Oh, you just.
I keep
fisted
it in a
then, huh?
Ziploc.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Anyway, that's Fox and Sons Coffee.
Yeah.
Find it.
Meet
Fox and
Steve. Get
Sons.
groped. Yeah. Gropes people.
Yeah. So anyway, we got a great show. We got a great show tonight. We did have a great show. This is our last one, but guys, we're going to be back with the meme of the week and the viewer mail right after this commercial break. Don't go away.
Yeah.
You have the ability to sense and know higher truth.
Higher
Wow.
truth.
Yeah. Wow. I'm
gonna have
like
to-
a prophet.
I'm gonna have to think about that.
I saw over there in chat. Our friend Derek said, "Can we pay Fetterman to review Fox and Sons?" What was the name of that service? Cameo? Is that the thing where
Yeah.
the random C-list celebrities, you can pay them and they'll like call you and say happy birthday or whatever?
Yeah, they'll record a video, yeah.
Fetterman. John Fetterman should be on Cameo.
Oh yeah.
Could you imagine?
I'd get like 5 of them.
Yeah. We would do it. We would do it live on air. We would get it done. Literally call in, have it done, just broadcast it right there. Hey Dave,
Yeah, it's on.
what time is it?
It's time for meme of the week. Panic. Oh no.
When you're headed to the movies with Lauren Boebert. Right.
Okay.
Young fellas, just be you don't want the extra butter, you know?
No.
It's hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
You
burns.
only have to learn you know, there's certain lessons in life you only have to learn once.
Yep.
That's one right there.
What
But we do have a bonus animated meme of the week. Check this out.
Then why don't you just fucking die already? Just give up and die.
Wow.
Yeah. That's what my therapist said. I go to the same therapist when I go to the doctor too. It's the same kind of doctors around here.
Oh yes. Same network.
Yeah, it's the same. Yeah. I got to get well, you can't go out of your network. It costs, costs way too much money. But since we're totally out of time and we're ready for the guest, let's answer all the viewer mail.
Good. This is concise.
This always reminds me of Marbles now.
PTSD.
Yeah. All right. Tim Weissall writes, Dear Alan and Dave, if you had the money to do it, would you take a trip to space? Oh, 100%.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Dude, yeah.
Wow.
I would do it if it were a one-way trip.
Oh.
Yeah. Tonight. I'd cut the stream. I'd start packing right now.
got a bug out bag ready to go.
If we're ever in the middle of like a guest interview with like someone important and I just say, Dave, cut the stream, we're out. Then it's because I'm going to space. Now,
I have a button for that, yeah.
Oh, you do have a button? Okay.
Just in case.
You want to go to space, Dave?
I don't even want to go to the east side of town. I don't want to go to space.
Oh, is that the other side of town?
Well, that's not why I said it, but yeah.
Yeah, no. You don't owe me any. No, it's not. Logan Denny writes, Dear Alan and Dave, what is your favorite dinosaur? Dave, favorite dinosaur?
Tyrannosaurus Rex. Yep.
What a fucking normie.
Is that still a dinosaur? They keep changing them.
Yeah, well, they're all different shapes and sizes now. Like the Jurassic. Remember in Jurassic Park with the raptors that were like, as big as a Clydesdale, and they would just eat. You realize raptors only like came up to your waist.
Yeah, they're like turkey sized, right?
Well, no, they're way bigger than turkeys. But like, I mean, a raptor's like the size of like, I don't know, like a Great Pyrenees, not the size of a Clydesdale. These are very different size animals. I'm just saying, I would drop kick a velociraptor. Come at me, yeah.
They're pack hunters. You gotta.
Yeah.
Well, I guess you. Yeah.
Well, once you've dropped a Hellbow on the first one, do the others really want?
Yeah. Send the message.
Yeah, they'll just eat him.
Mm-hmm. They don't care.
Yeah, I don't give a shit. Aaron Kintner writes, Dear Alan and Dave, how often do you think about the Roman Empire? Dave, thinking about the Roman Empire?
Wow,
really?
This meme. I said maybe once or twice a week. I'm not like these crazy people like every day, twice a day. No, it just pops in my mind when I think about the fall of our nation. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't at all, and it's because people are completely ignorant of history. This is nothing like the end of the Roman Empire. This is much more like Spanish Revolution and fall of the USSR. Read a goddamn book, people.
Yeah.
Matt Lacey writes, Dear Alan and Dave, what dish detergent do you prefer? I feel like we should get paid for answering questions like that.
Yeah, this is a product endorsement.
Yeah, like if I say Cascade, like they owe us something.
Mm-hmm. I'll get them on the horn.
I just use Fox and Sons.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Everything
That'll
gets
work.
a nice tan sheen. And my clothes too. I actually use it in the wash.
Jam a bunch of beans in that little door thing with the.
Mm-hmm. and you know what?
What happens?
I have an enchanting musk everywhere I go. Let's see. Andrew Avery writes, Dear Alan and Dave, federal prosecutors are trying to force an in-person arraignment for the president's son, as opposed to a video conference. Does this make them hunter-gatherers?
Oh, that's clever.
See how he built the whole thing up without using Hunter
Yeah.
Biden's name because he was trying to save it for the
Yeah, for the punchline. Yeah.
All right.
The
Anyway.
value member.
Yeah. I'm just noticing just this moment because we, for people that are not in the know, we have our private Facebook group where we solicit these questions, and I'm just noticing this moment that Facebook has updated their icons.
Really?
The laugh emoji's different, and the buttons at the top are different, and I think I'm just going to close my account. I don't.
Yeah,
like
I don't
change.
like that.
Yeah,
No,
I don't like
we
change.
fear change.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Okay. Justin Campbell writes, Justin Campbell shouldn't be allowed to ask questions if he's here. You know? Like he's just in the green room right now getting ready to come on.
And
he's
just yell it out.
He's in there on his thing. Our knee's supposed to bend that direction. Oh my God.
Ooh.
Did you see that?
I saw it on the internet.
His knee got Damar Hamlin'd the other night.
Oh, it did.
Yeah. And it ain't coming back either, just like him. Justin, they're not supposed to bend that way.
No.
Nick White writes, Dear Alan Dave, if you could live in any fictional video game world, where would you live?
Oh, wow. I didn't see this one.
I'm going to say Fallout because that's where we're headed anyway, but everything has a cool retro vibe.
Yeah, I love that 50s, like,
yeah,
great radio stations.
So I really want, if we're going to have a nuclear holocaust anyway, I want it to be, hip. So that's me.
I can't think of a video game place that isn't terrifying.
Yeah, they're all bad. See, everyone thinks it'd be a cool adventure. You're just going to die.
They're all
like you don't have extra lives.
What's that Mario or that DS game where people are like their little islands or whatever? That seems peaceful. I can't think of it.
I don't know. It's getting awfully boomery.
Maybe Farmville.
Chris Malliard writes, Dear Alan and Dave, why is discrimination okay for dogs like pit bulls, but not for people? Aha, Chris, that's a trick question because discrimination is okay for people. Endorsed. All right. Okay. Josh Wright writes, Dear Alan and Dave, you just won a lifetime supply of the thing you hate the most. What did you win? Oh my God, I just won a lifetime supply of me. That's amazing.
I can't tell. That's a lot of Allens.
Yeah.
Oh, but one Allen is more than a lifetime.
Oh, it's plenty. Yeah. And I mean, I could hook you up with some women that would confirm. Let's see. Melody White writes, Dear Alan and Dave. What do you hate the most, Dave? Lifetime supply.
Oh, jeez. I'm drawing a blank.
Public speaking.
Yeah, that's
you get a lifetime supply of public speaking.
Just gotta talk to people.
Yeah, you're being broadcast 24/7. You're Truman.
Yep. Truman Show. Yep.
You're it. You're the Truman Show. Oh my God, Dave, you were made for this. All right. Melody White writes, Dear Alan and Dave, which is the best way to have eggs? It's scrambled.
No, what are you, a child?
It's scrambled because you do so much with it. Like, I'm not going to add, like, cheese and bacon and other condiments into, like, Over Easy.
Ah, okay. Well, I mean, you can use, like, an Over Easy egg to make, like a bagel sandwich, and then you can put bacon and cheese and all that stuff.
No, it's messy, dude. Running.
No. Well, then maybe over hard. Or, yeah.
No, you like it hard?
Sometimes. No, I like it. I like it runny in the middle. Oh, man.
All right. Let's see. Eric Eli writes, Dear Alan and Dave, what is your favorite foreign dialect? Spanish as in, like, women from Spain. Spaniards.
Oh, from Spain.
Yeah. Like the European Spaniards. Not them, voila Spaniards, but the European Spaniards. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No,
it's so cute to watch them try to speak English, and you just say, "Oh, you adorable little retard, take your clothes off," like.
Yeah. Then they swing at you. Oh wait, no, that's the other ones.
No,
Yeah.
those are
That's all.
the brown ones that live in this hemisphere. But this is getting really problematic.
Yeah.
All right, what's your favorite dialect?
Is an accent like a dialect? Like I know there's like a Gaelic, but I love an Irish accent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gaelic is a language, right?
I mean, it was, but
They don't do that much anymore.
Gary Dyster writes, Dear Alan and Dave, how many views did the Taco Bell episode end up getting? Whatever it is, it wasn't enough.
No, it
I
wasn't.
can guarantee you that.
Yeah, I still have a daytime job.
Yeah.
I should have retired on that one.
It's actually kind of scary that we're a third of the way to the Little Debbie list when we're not doing it for like 2 months. But
We're gonna end up spending all the money.
But Aaron's probably got the links, so we gotta raise all that money for the Little Debbie tier list so that we can do it again.
Yeah.
Tim Weissel writes, Dear Alan. It doesn't say Dave; it just says Dear Alan.
Okay, I'll set this one up.
You and Tim having some kind of a?
I thought we were pretty tight. I don't know.
Okay. All right. Dear Alan, do you think you'll be giving Dave a 40% pay raise over the next 4 years? Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
As long as I work 32 hours.
Yeah, I will. Dave is on for 32 hours, and I will give him a 40% raise over the next 4 years. So what is 40% of a bag of coffee?
Yeah.
Over the next 4 years, you'll get a 40% more Fox and Sons.
Coffee. Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Start selling it out of my trunk. I'm gonna turn a profit here.
See, for other people thinking about getting into podcasting, I hope you learned a couple of things from this segment. One, Dave is the kind of guy you want as your producer because it doesn't take much to make him happy. And two, there's nothing in it for you.
Nothing.
No. Brian Johnson writes, Dear Alan and Dave, if you could interview any musician on the show, living or dead, who would you choose? I think interviewing a dead musician would probably be pretty creepy, but that may be a good Halloween episode, though.
Yeah, just have him chilling there.
Yeah.
Chilling.
Yeah. Oscar Peterson, what about you?
Who the hell?
You uncultured. Who's yours? Go ahead and say Nickelback so we can move on.
No, I'm not going to pick anyone. You don't want to meet your heroes. But yeah, Weird Al.
Okay.
He'd be fun.
Yeah. All right. Elam Stoltz writes, Dear Alan and Dave, who cursed the Browns? Rip Nick Chubb's career, by the way. I was going to say that the Browns are cursed because they relocated their team to Baltimore, but they were shitty before that.
Yeah, they were real bad.
They were already bad. Yeah. So the curse had to have been earlier.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know who would have done that.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess it's just Mr. Brown. The
ghost of Mr. Brown.
He must have done something, and that's why his team can never win. By something.
Maybe, yeah.
I mean.
Oh no. bothering
children. Ryan Seifert writes, and finally, Dear Alan and Dave, what Peanuts character are you? Oh, I'm Charlie Brown. I just walk around miserable. That's me.
Wow, what Peanuts character are you?
Yeah. You're Lucy.
Really?
No.
You think I'm pulling the football on you?
I don't know. It kind of depends on how the transition to the guest segment goes. Because we didn't discuss it.
No, we didn't.
Yeah, that was my way to wink to you.
Yeah.
About some programming notes.
Okay.
We don't have a question from Mary.
Yeah, she had a busy day today. She could do it ahead of time, but she doesn't.
Yeah.
And she was running all day.
Dave, be careful.
No, and she also doesn't check her messages.
All right, guys, we're going to be back with Justin Campbell of the Fact Check This podcast right after this commercial break. Don't go away. Your ad could be playing right now, reaching thousands of potential customers. Sadly, it's not, but it could be. Find out how to be an advertised sponsor for It's Too Late with Alan Mosley. Email us at info@alanmosley.tv. Welcome back to the show, everybody. Our guest this evening is the host of the Fact Check This podcast. Well, like Fact Check These Nuts, am I right? And co-host of half a dozen other programs you've never heard of. He's an advocate for secession and self-segregation, so he's one of us. He's a racist. Coming to us from somewhere in the backwoods of Indiana, Justin Campbell. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you, Alan. Thank you.
Now, folks at home might remember Justin. Yeah. Okay, everybody shut the. You guys might remember Justin joined us briefly one night when we didn't we pick every single college football bowl game from that season just in one fell swoop?
Yes. The plan was we were going to pick every bowl game in 20 minutes, and an hour and a half later, we finally wrapped up.
Well, in our defense, they have enough bowl games that of like the 130 Division I teams, only like 15 teams don't go to a bowl game. So it's not our fault that it's all about money.
Right. I mean, if they would stop letting, San Diego State College, A&M for the deaf go to the, I don't know. Well, I mean, they probably got into the Fiesta Bowl if we're being honest. If they quit letting every single junior college go to some random ass bowl that's sponsored by, your local tire shop, it probably would take us a little bit less time to pick all the games.
My Kimmel bought the rights to one of the bowls, and there was like the Jimmy Kimmel Bowl sponsored by Cheez-Its or some ridiculous B. I mean, I hate Jimmy Kimmel, but I was like, wow, I mean, anyone can do it, right?
We ought to just do like I think instead of picking the games, do like a listing of the best bowl sponsorships or bowl names, like go best to worst. And maybe the best should be the actual worst, though.
Well, see, people who are not of a certain age or older will not remember that, once upon a time when you didn't have any official rankings or formulas or equations, and you just had 60 teams all playing a bowl named after a fruit. And then at the end of the year, like 50 guys would get together and just pick one and say, okay, they were the best. And they would just be the national champion. And there you go. And then for the other 49 teams that won their bowl that didn't get picked, they would just declare themselves the national champion.
That was back in the day when the bowls actually had pedigree. They actually had meaning. The Orange Bowl, the Cotton Bowl, the Liberty Bowl, the Rose Bowl. Like the names of the bowls had meaning. And if you got to play in those big name bowls, then that means there was a chance that you could declare yourself or be declared the national champion. And yeah, it was kind of I don't know. Maybe that's democracy done right. The way they used to pick the national champion was like just let the people decide who was the best team and say, yeah, they won the best bowl game, so they get to be the champion.
I honestly see, this is the thing. This is one of those things where the more you try to fix it, the less like soul it has, if that makes sense. Like I feel like college football is quickly reaching the point where the things that made college football not the NFL, like the things that made it its own institution. Of course, college football long predates professional football. What made it special and unique, and the camaraderie and the rivalry and the tradition, you lose a little bit of that with each little change to the formula to try to make it official. Does that make sense?
Yeah, they're watering down the product. They keep adding more playoff games, and they use what used to be the meaningful bowls to play these playoff games. But the more playoff teams they add, it just dilutes the field. Like you had to strive to be undefeated, to be by and large the best team. Like it wasn't good enough to just win all of your games. You needed to go out there and embarrass people and beat the fucking brakes off of them so that everybody knew they are the best team in the country. That way at the end of the year, you get to be declared the national champion. Not, you might have some fluke chance that a TCU ends up knocking off a much better Michigan team, and then you just get to steamroll them in the championship game.
Well, I mean, you get what you fucking deserve. All right. Anyway, Justin, before we get into some of tonight's topic, suck it, Michigan. Before we get into any of tonight's topic, tell everybody at home who may not be familiar with you. Tell us a little bit about the Fact Check This podcast.
Oh, back in 2021, I was posting a lot of stuff about COVID and the clot shots and other things that they required you to wear on your face. And I kept getting hit with these fact checkers. And every time I would look at the fact check of the things that I was saying, it would say, well, actually, this guy is right, but we just don't like the way he said it, more or less. So I got pissed off with these fact checkers all the time. I was like, I'm going to just start a podcast, and I'm just going to start taking every fucking fact check that they hit me with, and I'm going to go through and break down the fact check and explain or show where the fact check says that I'm actually right and they're wrong. So that's how it started out, and then it's kind of evolved, devolved. I'm not sure how you want to view it, but it has become something a little bit different. But I still have a lot of fun with finding different topics and things that are going on in the world that I don't think are getting enough coverage, and trying to talk about them and kind of bring a rational take to it. A lot of the stuff that I'll read will be from like Washington Post or Salon or The Atlantic. I try to find like these leftist tilted articles and stories, and then go through and just basically I fact check them. I go through and break down all the things that they get wrong in all of these like articles and stuff, and it's like, yeah, this is where they're just being disingenuous or flat out fucking lying about everything that they say.
So this is something that, those damn checkers, as soon as some checkers run into your neighborhood, property values go down. It's ridiculous. But something like a kind of a common theme that we've talked about on the show over years now is, on the one hand, there's kind of that whole Michael Malice thing of they say things that are factual but not truthful. Like they may quote some statistics that are correct, but either their premise is wrong or the conclusions they're drawing are way out of proportion with the data, or at the very minimum it's a reach. At the very maximum they clearly have an agenda, and so they're sort of selectively, well, we'll put this in, we'll take this out. But and you tell me your thoughts on this. I feel like, and maybe this is just rosy colored glasses on my part, but I feel like the further down the road we go, the more that when I say they, I mean the corporate press, the mainstream, the establishment, they don't even respect you enough to lie well. So it used to be, lie via omission. Now it's just bold-faced lies in the headline, and they just dare you to think the opposite.
That's one of the interesting things that I've started to come across over the last year or so, in looking at different articles and reviewing stuff and looking at the numbers, is the frequency with which they just straight up tell you the truth. Like, they don't even try to lie. They just come right out and say all the quiet parts out loud. And I think it's why we've seen since the Bush administration the trust for mainstream media and the corporate press really decline. And over the last 3 or 4 years, and maybe even further back, it may be as far back as 2017 when Trump first came into office, and you really saw the TDS set in and hit the mainstream media like squarely in the face. Like they all got the bug and couldn't shake it. But since COVID especially, they have become considerably less good at covering their own tracks and lying, and people are starting to notice. Like that's something that's interesting, because I'll look at and review these articles, and a lot of times they'll have like a commentary section, or I'll find some of this stuff on Twitter or Facebook, and there's always like comments and stuff. Like people are starting to see this, and they're like, this is a crock of shit. Do y'all even tell the truth about anything? Do you even try to tell the truth? Like other people just regular, like, average dumbasses are starting to view what is coming out of our news, and they've lost faith. So it's pretty impressive. It's white pilling for me. I love that shit.
Well, I think one thing that is kind of interesting that you and tell me if this is an experience that you have when you talk to people. A lot of people will have this. They kind of get stuck on this position of, well, it's really bad now. Of course, I remember, my favorite newscaster who was on like 5 minutes ago. He of course was legitimate, and this network never lies, and I subscribe to this this network or whatever. A lot of people have those rosy colored glasses of, oh, well, whatever. Brian Jennings didn't lie. Tom Brokaw didn't lie, whatever. And I think what a lot of people, they're falling into this trap of, you just didn't notice it then. You notice it now. And by the way, that's not me criticizing them, calling them dum-dums. They're certainly a lot more on the nose, as you put it, today than they maybe were in the past. But in the same way that, history is written by the victors, and we know that there's things in history curricula around the country that we're like, wait a minute, this is just objectively false. They're teaching it a certain way. It's not true. The news didn't become the fake news like in 2016 when Trump ran for office. That it wasn't completely legitimate media networks in 2015 and just a hellscape in 2016. But I think a lot of people feel that way. Have you run into that?
Yes, and yeah, a lot of people, they don't believe that they've always been lied to, and they may be right. Maybe they haven't been lied to for their entire lives if they're my dad's age and in their 70s, but most of the people our age, we have literally been lied to our entire lives. Like, if you go back and you look at the way they covered like most of what happened in the first Bush's administration, the Clinton administration, W's administration, like, yeah, this stuff didn't start 8 years ago. It started 25, 30, 35 years ago, and they've been doing it. You just didn't realize it. And if you take the time to actually go back, and that's something that I try to do from time to time, is go back and look at like old stuff that came out a number of years ago and look at the way that it got spun, or look at the way that it was being portrayed in the news at that time, and then what we know now about it. It's like, look, they've been lying about shit for at least 25 years, if not longer. Like, this isn't new, just the blatantness of how they don't try to cover it up is the new thing. And so now you see it, but it's always been there.
Well, because I always try to tell people, like, look, this is one of those chapters that your school probably skipped over when you were in school, or they read it for 5 minutes. But people might have heard the phrase yellow journalism before, where you had sensationalist articles that were appearing in the New York Times that were all just completely made up. This was just total nonsense. That was in the 19th century. This is the 1800s. And of course, you fast forward a few decades, and you have, somebody on chat will remember this. The name is slipping my mind right now, but the guy who went over to Russia, to the Soviet Union, and was saying, "Oh no, there's no Holodomor. They're not starving people. Everybody in Ukraine is fine." And of course and again, that was printed. I don't hate to shit on the New York Times, but they just happen to be a publication that's been around for a long time. I mean, that was the paper of record, and those articles were published in the New York Times in the beginning of the 20th century, saying that all of that is just, imperialist propaganda. And of course, that it was just all bold-faced lies. So again, tell me exactly when the media were run by angels and when it became lies.
That's interesting, because that is true. The New York Times has been around long enough that we literally have a century worth of background that we can go back and be like, look, they've been lying about shit for literally forever. Like, this isn't new. This definitely isn't something of the 21st century. It's impressive. Which, I mean, like you said, when has the news not been spun? I mean, you can go all the way back to the Roman Empire. They had the street criers that would call out the news, and that was propaganda. Like
How often?
they are giving the spin of what their their representatives, what the emperor, whatever the government at the time wanted. That's the spin that they were giving it. I mean, look at feudal Europe, the England, France, all of the major powers, the colonial powers that spread out and colonized the world, and the expanding empires and everything. Like everything that they did was propaganda to blow up the image of what they were and paint them as the good guys. So the job of the press has never been to tell the truth. Maybe in I don't know, the mid 1770s, you were getting some honesty from the press because it was being suppressed by one of those colonializing powers. But then within 50 years, once that particular part of the world kind of settled into its groove, I'm sure they started doing the exact same thing. In fact, I know for a fact they started doing the exact same thing because that's what leads up to the Civil War.
How often do you think about the Roman Empire, Justin?
I have been thinking about the Roman Empire at least weekly since I was in high school, if I'm being completely honest.
All right. I was just wondering. So one of the reasons that I asked you on the show, we talked about this a little bit briefly before we started tonight. There was a tweet. You want to talk about where you're getting your news from, right? Because that's the question. I think if you're talking to a normie that's at least receptive to what you're saying and just exasperated, they'll say, well, look, if you're trying to tell me that everything I know is a lie and everything's made up, then where do you get your news from? And that's a difficult question, right? I mean, it's tough because I sympathize with your salt of the earth folks because they're just trying to live their lives, right? They're just trying to feed their families and pay their bills. And they're not spending hours on end trying to research who is and isn't spinning what. They got things to do. And I can respect that. But people will ask, well, where do you get your information from? And one place where oftentimes people will get their info from is these cult of personalities that grow around these pundits, these kind of niche internet celebrities or whatever you want to call them, podcasters in that case. Not us, of course. Jesus Christ, they're no better than to listen to us. And one such person, of course, is Mike Cernovich. And he posted this tweet just the other night. I'm going to pull it up right here. He said, quote, "If you want to be pro-life, no exceptions, good for you. Lose every election. Have no political power. Then see what life, in quotations, looks like in a Bolshevik hellhole. Will you feel good because you didn't compromise as your children starve in another Holodomor? That's the alternative." Wow. So if you were to take that at face value, it seems to me that he's saying, and we'll get into the abortion thing in a second, but it seems to me that he's saying basically this is the most important election of our lifetimes, right? Is that not what he's saying?
If we don't win now and we don't find a way to placate the middle and the people who are not like hardcore insane leftists, then there's no way forward other than we're going to full-on communism and we're all going to be thrown in concentration camps. Yay, that's not the black pill take that I like to approach this whole thing from, but I guess that's one way to look at it.
Well, and of course, obviously, the kind of the impetus of his whole random spiel, because he went on, I mean, there's like 100 tweet just cavalcade of hot takes by him over the next several hours, but a lot of it revolves around abortion. And obviously, abortion is a hot button topic. It probably always will be. But in my mind, you basically have two camps. You have one camp that believes in, making life easy and practical, and you have another camp that believes that camp is literally killing children. They don't think they're kind of killing children. They think they're literally killing children. And one could understand that if your opinion, because I try to, maybe I'm getting soft in my old age, but I tend to try to put myself in the shoes of somebody else. And so I try to tell these people kind of on the left side of the aisle is that, look, guys, you got to understand, these people over here that you think are crazy and hysterical and you think they're going to firebomb your Planned Parenthood because of having a difference of opinion of you. Guys, they don't just have a difference of opinion. They think you're killing babies. Now, if you thought that it was killing babies, then you could at least understand why they'd be a little bit emotional about the topic, right?
Yeah, it's one of those things that it's hard to get the it's a baby from conception people to get along with the it's just a clump of cells people, which I do think that by and large those are the two extreme ends of the spectrum on that. But they're also, as tends to be the case with everything else, the loudest and most obnoxious ends of those spectrums, and so they're the ones that are constantly driving the narrative on that. And most of the people who have reasonable, rational takes on stuff just want to stay the fuck out of it because it's too hot of a topic. It's too controversial. So then you just get the worst of both parties bickering with each other and wanting to kill each other because of whether or not because you have you're killing babies or you're killing the woman, because that's the thing that gets way overstated is like how deadly pregnancy is for women, and like the left side of the argument acts like if every single one of these women who wants to get an abortion isn't permitted to get an abortion, they're gonna die, and that's probably not the case. In fact, statistically, very, 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 very rarely the case.
They heavily overstate that, and if not death, they will at least say that, well, if you force a woman to continue a pregnancy, that's literally chattel slavery. Like that you've literally turned them into a cow, and they're a farm animal, and this is grotesque and inhumane. Of course, a real cow is a cow, and an adult female who gets pregnant did something to make that happen of their own free will. So I feel like there's a little bit of nuance there. But one thing that I'm really surprised to see Cerno taking this ridiculous take that he has is we're in a period of time just coming, historically speaking, recently coming off of the Supreme Court's ruling on Roe v. Wade. And you now are living in a country that at least where individual states, because God forbid we have federalism, right? You have individual states that at least have the opportunity to either continue abortions or can vote on legislation to ban abortions, at least within their state. And a hardcore pro-lifer might say, well, I want to ban abortions everywhere because it's murder, period, full stop. But it's at least a movement in the right direction. What was the last time that any right-wing cause moved in the right direction? I don't mean slowed down its pace to the left. I mean moved towards the right. So I don't know. It just seems odd to me that this is the particular take he would have on kind of the whole right-left political paradigm using abortion to state his case, when that's one of the few areas that at least had a net movement in the right.
So at least in some part, he is right, just a very, very little bit. By and large, just like wholesale ban of abortion is not going to be a winning position, whether you agree with it or disagree with that or not, or whatever your opinion is. That's not necessarily a winning position, but it's also the position of a very small minority. Most are in favor of the 6 to 12 week, with the health of the mother, rape, incest, allowances. Like, most people are in favor of something that goes between, say, what Indiana has and what Mississippi has. And which Mississippi is what triggered the whole abortion debate and taking this thing to the Supreme Court to begin with, which the Mississippi abortion ban was just what Europe uses. But nobody wants to talk about that either. But yes, he's right in the sense that that's an unpopular topic or an unpopular position, but it's also an incredible minority position. Like to spurg out the way he did on that topic, that is realistically speaking a non-topic. It's like, what's going on in his head that he feels the need to placate to the left in such a way. Like, he's not, I don't, correct me if I'm wrong, I think you read more of the thread than I did. He's not suggesting, like, I hate to use the term, but like common sense abortion bans. He's suggesting that we need to, like, not approach this as a topic because it's unpopular and it's going to result in a loss, and if you lose, then that's the end of the fucking world.
Yeah, so this is kind of where I'm at on it, is by reading his own statement straight from his fingertips. This is purely a pragmatical political strategy. He's not really been really addressing the moral right and wrong or the ethics or anything. He's just saying that if you lose the election, you don't get to write laws. If you win the election, you at least get to debate the laws, whereas if you lose, there's no debate. You're not in the game. You don't have a seat at the table. And so winning comes first. Those are his words. I'm not putting them in his mouth. He literally said, winning is all that matters. It comes first. Therefore, Republicans, because we tend to talk about conservative or progressive or liberal, but if you're going to talk about it from a political strategy perspective, you should actually use the party's name. So Republicans. He believes that Republicans should, at a minimum, step off of certain issues and not campaign on them. At a maximum, be willing to compromise, because you have to win, and then once you win, you can then start to have some of these more nuanced conversations about policy. My problem with all of that is I feel like if your position is, if we don't, first of all, he's a doomer. He's saying if we don't win, this is the most important election. If we don't win, it's literally Stalinist Russia. If you feel that way, then I can understand his strategy. But this is the same old tired trope we get every single election cycle. Oh, we got to win this one, otherwise the sky falls. Well, the world's still turning on its axis today, so that was obviously not true in 2020. It obviously wasn't true in 2016, and on and on and on. So it's probably not going to be true in 2024 either. But besides that, it's funny to me that this guy, who is a conservative pundit, whatever you want to call him, he believes that the right-wingers should compromise some more so we can get in office, and then we're going to have some friendly debates over what our policies should be. But the left wing, they're always in lockstep on progressive policies, even when it's unpopular, even when they lose. Because the left understands that it's sometimes you got to have some short-term losses to enjoy long-term gains. So in the sense that he might be right that this position is an unpopular one, it's unpopular today. But if your ultimate end goal was to get to that position and to make it the majority position, how do you get there by giving up?
The left wins and the right loses because the right thinks that they need to compromise and play nice, whereas the left understands, fuck that, fuck them, we are going to steamroll this and do exactly what we want to do. If you're going to take a position, a true conservative position, you need to take it firmly and you need to stand by it. You need to stand by it with everything you've got, double down on it. The right, specifically these conservative pundits and the people who are kind of dictating how these directions are being taken in the media and the way they do their campaigns, they are terrified that people are going to call them racist, people are going to call them bigots, people are going to call them Nazis and all of these other names. They are terrified that somebody's not going to like them, except that when you, instead of holding to firm positions, you cuck yourself over to progressivism light and try to play the middle, now the left is never going to like you. And now the people who should be your base in the middle and to the right, now they don't like you either, because you have proven that you are not actually on their side. You are just on the side of whatever you think makes people happy. and nobody likes the yes man. It's the worst trope you could be. But that's what GOP Inc. is. They are the fucking yes men, and it's a losing strategy.
Well, speaking of cucking yourself over and being a sellout, Justin, do you like hot sauce?
I love hot sauce.
Justin, let me tell you about the hot sauce for the Tennessee Hot Sauce Company, which you can find at TennesseeHotSauceCo.com right there. If you use promo code It's Too Late, all one word, It's Too Late, you get 10% off your entire order of this hot sauce. I've actually got the garlic habanero right here, which you can see and I know that I'm not joking about this because you've seen it happen in real time. You can see that this bottle's been open and it's that empty because that's how much of it I drank straight from the bottle, because I would never try to peddle anything to my audience that I haven't taste tested. And that's how you eat hot sauce, right? You just drink it straight from the bottle.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay,
that's one way to do it.
So anyway, as the Tennessee Hot Sauce Company, which you can find at tnhotsauceco.com. Guys, we're going to be back to talk a little bit more about the cuckservatives with Justin Campbell of Fact Check This podcast right after this commercial break. Don't go away. It's Too Late with Alan Mosley is proudly supported by Fox & Sons Coffee. Fans of It's Too Late use code ITL and receive 18% off orders of $25 or more. Shipping's always free on orders over $37.99, so get yours today at their website, which is www.foxandsons.com. It's www.foxandsons.com. Welcome back to the show, everybody. We are here with our friend Justin Campbell of the Fact Check This podcast, which you can find right there. Justin, where all can people go to find Fact Check This podcast and all the different platforms and all that?
Fact Check This podcast is on all of the streaming services, or the podcatchers, as far as I'm aware. I don't think I've gotten dropped off of any of them in the last year or so. You can also find all of my video on Rumble. I decided to say fuck this to YouTube, and I am now Rumble exclusive. I prefer it that way because I do tend to talk about things that YouTube doesn't like, so I don't have to worry about those getting taken down on Rumble. And you can find it all at Fact Check This podcast. Just search for it. You have to put podcast on the end. If you just search Fact Check This, it comes up with a bunch of random stuff. Throw the podcast on there, and it'll take you right to me.
All right, perfect. So, kind of to piggyback on what we were talking about there in the first segment. So, at the end of the day, you kind of have you have conservative Inc., and then you just sort of have your salt of the earth types, and the split seems to be one side thinks that, look, politics is a game, and you got to play the game, and that means having a big platform that you may not 100% agree with, but, gosh darn it, we're just trying to, kumbaya, one big happy family, melting pot, union, democracy, blah, blah, blah. And those people tend to have the opinion that the reason why Republicans aren't winning is because you're just getting all these just unabashed, uncompromising, just stick in the mud, stuck to their principled conservatives, that they just won't bend on anything and therefore they can't win. And I tend to be of the opposite opinion. I think that the reason why, because you don't win and lose in one election. We're talking about decades. It could be centuries in the long view. I think that you lose in the long term by the exact opposite, by not running strictly principled, conservative, unwavering, uncompromising people. I think it's the compromising is what gets you, the Bush family back in charge. That's what gets you the Mike Pences. And the next name that I wanted to bring up, because it's one that you and I had talked about, of course, Speaker of the House McCarthy. Now, we all knew, and I see you smiling already, we all knew that this guy was a cuck from minute one. In fact, that's why there was a holdout for his confirmation, because people were saying this guy is straight out of the swamp. We're not going to indict anybody. They're not going to impeach Biden. They're not going to go after Hunter. We're not going to pass any legislation. We're not going to stick to any conservative roots because this guy's going to be playing ball with Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi 24/7. And yet the holdouts finally caved. He got confirmed. And then what happens? Exactly what we all knew was going to happen. It's just another Paul Ryan. It's just another Mitt Romney. It's just another Lindsey Graham. It's just another John McCain. They're all the same. So tell me that, of course, it's those compromising Republicans that are going to lead us to the promised land.
The holdouts should have. They weren't holding out on the basis of principle is the problem. And there's nobody at that level that actually has legitimate principle. Like Thomas Massey, Rand Paul to some extent, and maybe 2 or 3 others, like by and large, but not entirely. They weren't holding out to stop a bad Speaker of the House from taking the seat. They were holding out for political gain, to get the allowances on things, to get certain favors, to get whatever little penance they could get before they caved. And that's the problem. If they truly had principle and they truly intended to stop a bad speaker from taking the seat, they would have held out and said, the only way that we stop this is if you pick somebody else. Don't give a shit who it is, but it can't be him. He is, like you said, he is all of the terrible predecessors that we have seen. He is Mike Pence of the House, or Mitch McConnell of the House. Like, he is not going to do what we want to do. Pick somebody else. We don't want to play ball with these people. They were never going to do that. Like, maybe 3 of them would have actually stood by that all the way to the end. But and that's the problem with Conservative Inc. That's the problem with the GOP on that 1,000-foot level, is they're not interested in principle. They're interested in playing ball, and primarily in making the left happy while alienating their base on the right. That's what they do. Every single election, every single session, they go in and they don't stand by the things that the people who elected them believe that they should be standing by.
Well, on that note, we'll kind of bring things full circle by me tossing you a softball. So, Justin, what is the answer?
The answer is to run on principle. Number one, the answer is to stop re-electing these squishy, horrible fucks like Mitch McConnell, which I guess it's hard to say that for McCarthy because he's out of California, so I don't think there are anything other than squishy Republicans in California. Maybe in the northern part of California, but by and large, they're probably not what folks from the heartland would consider strong, principled Republicans or conservatives. But stop re-electing these people. And if, like, for instance, Mitch McConnell will be re-elected in the state of Kentucky, he could literally stand up on the debate stage with a Democratic candidate standing right next to him and full-on stroke out, fall on the floor, and they have to wheel him out. He will still get reelected because that part of the country does not have enough blue votes to unseat him, and the Kentucky GOP will never allow someone to primary him. So as long as he wants to be wheeled out there, corpse and all, they will keep reelecting him because people are so scared that if a Democrat wins, it's the end of the world. And it's not. It won't be. This system is not set up to actually accomplish things. And as hard as they try to accomplish things, they still by and large fail. So make a statement. Stop voting for these pieces of shit. Write in Harambe every election. If you don't have the, I caught a lot of flack in 2020 because I said that I was going to vote straight ticket Democrat. I feel like the Republicans have gone far enough in the direction of not actually standing for the principles and the things that they are supposed to, that I want to take a slightly accelerationist path, and let's just go ahead and blow the whole thing up. And Joe Biden and a Democrat-controlled House and Senate would expedite the blowing it up. And I said, so I'm going to vote for a Democrat for everything. Ultimately, I didn't end up voting at all, but that's neither here nor there. But like, take that approach. I mean, like, if you're not going to give us who we want, if you're not going to actually run somebody that's going to stand on principle and be firm in the things that we believe in, that we, their voting body, believe in and want them to stand for, then we're just not going to vote for them anymore. Like, give us what we want or fuck off. That should be the approach. Should.
Well, I'm proud of you, Justin, because my answer to that would have been a lot shorter. It would have just been, if we can't lose this election, because if we do, then it's going to be Stalinist Russia and all of our kids are going to die, then you should just be shooting people. That's it. I mean, if your vote is going to be the deciding factor between those two realities, you shouldn't be the old Frederick Douglass quote of "There's the ballot box and then there's the cartridge box." But my forefathers who flew a different flag, down here, they had some different opinions on that. Justin, on that note, thank you so much for being on the show, but we're going to get you out of here on this one. Are you ready for the bonus round?
Heck yeah.
All right. Now, I want you to visualize this. Now think of a salad. You've got your lettuce, you got some tomatoes, and maybe you got some onions and some peppers in there in your lettuce. And you know how they do at Olive Garden? They say, "All right, tell us when," and they start grating the cheese down on your salad. And you got some protein in there. You got like your bacon bits and what have you, and you got some carbs in there. You got like your croutons, little bits of bread. So with that as the backdrop, Justin, are nachos a salad?
Yes. I have to go with yes.
That is correct. Nachos are indeed a salad. Good job, Justin. You are 1-0 on It's Too Late. Fantastic answer. Justin, thanks so much for being on the show, buddy. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. This has been great.
Guys, we're going to be back to wrap up the show right after this commercial break. Don't go away.
If you're enjoying tonight's show, consider supporting the program by becoming a member of our Patreon. That's over at patreon.com/Alan Mosley.
Like our Facebook page. It's facebook.com/Alan Mosley TV. You can follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/Alan Mosley TV. Subscribe to our YouTube page. It's youtube.com/Alan Mosley TV. If you're more of a listener than a watcher, you get us on your favorite podcast platform of choice, such as Spotify. It's Too Late with Alan Mosley or @Alan Mosley TV. That's right, Ryan. Justin gets to live because he got the question right.
Oh, good. Good for him.
And Eric July, he's still alive, but Tom Woods.
A lot of guests we've lost.
Yeah. We'll do it in memorial. Dave, do you have a final thought?
I need to pay more attention.
Yeah. Yeah, yikes.
maybe like read ahead.
Well, as I said in the previous segment, there's the ballot box and then there's the cartridge box. And if you're the kind of person who thinks that if we don't win this election, we're all going to die, then there's no point in voting. You should be shooting.
Yeah. I mean, that's just logic. We're not suggesting anything. But...
Yeah. While they're all out voting, set the trap. Oh my god!
In
If there's a
Minecraft.
shooting at a polling place now, it's over for me. It's
in
over for me. Right. After party?
Yeah, real quick.
All
Do
right.
that.
Yeah, just in and out. Guys, thank you so much for watching another episode of It's Too Late, and we will see you next week. Man, that was like a hidden episode inside the episode tonight. That was
Oh yeah, no
was-
one will ever see.
no.
Thank God.
That's the kind of we got to figure out that thing where we have another stream going during the stream, and it's
Yeah,
just on Patreon.
Yeah, the Patreon stream. We could do that. Figure it
We
out.
have- we'll have a Patreon stream where people are like in the studio with us. Could you imagine?
You're weird.
Oh,
Just
hey,
chaos.
look, it's Justin.
Hey. Yeah. Still alive. Look at him.
Well, 'cause
See,
you got
you
the
told the
question
truth.
right. Yeah.